Okay, confession time. It's been years since I've gone through the bottom of a bowl. And guess what? I was working on a bowl the other day, got careless measuring the bottom, and sure enough, yep, I'm back a member of the funnel club. So I thought you might be interested, and normally I wouldn't consider fixing something like this, but I did put a little bit of effort into it. Don't have another blank quite like it. So I thought I'd go ahead and repair it because I don't think it's going to be too terribly difficult. I'm going to show you how I did it. So I've got a set of chuck jaws that I thought would be able to grasp it at the bottom because I'd turned some rings, which was kind of fortuitous. So in order to put it in, I thought I would go ahead and just put a piece of painter's tape around the bottom before I put it in the chuck. And that'll prevent any rust oxidation stains from occurring. Let me open this up and see if I can't fit it in right below the first ring, and it's flush up against it, so this works good. The reason I'm doing this is I'm just going to open up that hole nice and around. This has only been drying for, maybe a week, but it's pretty thin at the bottom, so I'm hoping that when I do this fix, the wood movement's not going to cause further cracking. I'm just going to take out a perfect circle there that I can put a plug in with the same kind of wood that this came out of, that scraps from the same blank. So I'm going to use a box scraper on center. So I'm just going to come straight in there. I'm not going to hit anything. I've got plenty of room on these deep jaws, so I don't have to worry about damaging those. Pull the speed down a little bit. I'm just going to come right in here. And now I've got a nice round hole. May have a little tear out on the back side, but I think I can fix that. So now the challenge is going to be putting that plug in there. Let's see how we're going to do that. Let's look at the back of this. Oh man, I really did a job coming through here to get a little excessive tear out. That's okay. The plug, I'll use a plug that will cover up the edge of that little sanding, and I think we'll be fine. So I've got heartwood and sapwood, so I'm going to try to match that as close as possible. I'm not interested in a dark contrasting wood because I think it looks like it's a hole's been plugged. I'm trying to disguise it. Although some people say if you got a problem like that, you're better off just accentuating it, but I'm not going to do that. Alright, so I've got a piece of the same wood. I'm going to orient it in the same way, so I've got to make a plug that matches that hole. I'm going to start by taking my Dremel tool and with the drum and just clean that up just a little bit. Not getting crazy with it or anything. I don't think I've really changed the shape that badly, so hopefully that'll work. Next thing I've got to do is I've got to turn that plug. That's going to be a little bigger challenge. I'm going to take the piece I'm going to use for a plug and just sand it flat on my oscillating spindle sander. So I've measured the hole at 1.5 inches, so I'm going to take this scrap and subscribe a circle a little bit bigger than that, and just rough it out on a bandsaw. It's been my experience, the more you turn, the more little bits and pieces you have around, the easier it is to cobble something together. So I've got a threaded glue block I'm going to put on. And it has this little block glued on it. I have no idea why, but it's going to be a perfect surface to put this on. And I'm going to use Turner's tape, which is a great chucking method. If you haven't tried it, you ought to give it a try. So I'm just going to cut out a little sliver. Move this back out of the way. I've had this tape for over 15 years, so was bought at Woodcraft, and it's still great. I don't use it a lot, but it is a handy thing. It's called spec tape, pressure sensitive. Don't think you can use carpet tape the same way. It doesn't have the same strength. So, easiest way to get the end of this stuff loose is just slice it with a knife, and usually you can free up. There we go. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to center this with the smooth side that I had on the sander. And just center it as best I can. Now I'm going to bring up tailstock support. I don't want to use anything with a point because I don't want to put a divot in there unnecessarily. Tighten it down, and we're going to give it about 10 minutes to set up, because if you really want a strong hole, that's what you need to do. Meanwhile, I'll go ahead and get ready. Bring up my small tool rest. Back this tailstock up a little bit so I can get in here. Get a good adjustment on the calipers I'm going to use to measure that hole, so I can keep checking back. Okay, this is end grain. I'm going to, like I say, this part is going to be the top, and the plug is going to go down from the top, so I'm going to make it slightly concave, or tapered slightly. And let's just get the speed up a little bit. About 1600. I'm going to use this tiny 3/8 inch C-shaped bowl gouge, my kind of a finishing tool, and just take this thing down. Test it again. Getting close. Now I've got to decide how I want to handle the bottom of this. I'm thinking I might even want to put a tiny little step on here, because this is thicker than the bowl, and then I could, for final shaping, I can put a little, make it into somewhat of a button. So we're going to see how that goes. So that being the case, I better quit now. So I've got a tiny little room for overlap, maybe 1/16 of an inch. And I think I'm going to switch to a spindle gouge and come in just a tiny little bit, enough to give that a little bit of button. The bottom I'm not as concerned about the appearance, although I may have overdone it here. Okay. So now I'm going to pull the tailstock away, and I'm going to see if, you know, what this thing kind of looks like just plugging it in. And I'm getting close. You can see I've got 1/8 of an inch plus thickness here, and I want to get almost that amount here. Okay, so close. Real close. Okay, so I'm just going to come in here just very slightly. I want a nice clean shoulder, so I'm going to come in here with a slight concave. And now I'm going to go ahead and face off the bottom, because it's easier to do that now than it is when it's on the bowl. That may be a challenge, so let's just come in here with this, scrape a little bit. Let's do another trial fit. Not quite. I'm not going to rush this. Okay, I'm just about there. It'll just slide over, but not ready to tap in. A little sanding will do it, but because I just cut this off of a green piece of wood. I'm going to let this dry overnight before I do the final fitting because it may shrink a little bit. Okay, here's a close-up of the plug. Not real happy how it looks from the bottom. Obviously my drum sander made it uneven, and I put a little sandbag to hold it down while it's drying with carpenter's glue. Okay, so here's a close-up of the on each side of the bowl. I know some of y'all will ask, well, what if you've done this, or could you have done that, or I'll have suggestions on how I might have done better. I don't care. It was a total waste of time. Bottom line is, would I put my name on the bottom of this bowl to sell it or give it away? No. It's designer firewood. It's not. It was a waste of my time. More importantly, it would be a waste of your time to try to repair a bowl where you've created a funnel. Your time would be better spent turning another bowl. It's my opinion. It's not the truth. It's just the way I look at it. If you have a different opinion, I respect that. Y'all stay safe and come on back here.